Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about something very interesting that I think nobody talks about, but I think someone should at least teach it or show how they do it. And that's going to be keyboard configurations. Now, no one ever taught me how to do keyboard configurations, and I kind of had to figure out what worked best for me. And this is basically just going to be my opinion of what works best for this MMORPG game, and take it as you will. You can apply some of the things here, but you don't have to copy me, I guess, key for key. But this is just generally how I set things up, and I have to give thanks to my friend Gio for showing me this, because he was the one who basically hinted at it and showed me his keyboard configurations and told me to do something similar so it hurts my hands and wrists less. So without further ado, let's get into it. So obviously, gotta have your expressions on the top. Now you can take them off if you don't like them, but I keep them because I like to F3 at people when they die in the boss. That's just me though. Anyways, so yeah. The top keys that are ideally, you want to separate this into basically two sections so that your left hand and right hand work together and not separately, if that makes sense. So your right hand is basically mostly just going to be hovering around the arrow keys, for the whole duration of the boss fight, training, whatever it is. It's basically just going to be on the right side. Now every now and then you can obviously use whatever key or wherever your finger is on the up arrow to move it up to hit one of these keys on your keyboard. So these keys I usually keep for long duration and keys I don't use a lot, but I do use it sometimes. So this is like a 5-minute cooldown duration thing. These are the keys that basically pair well with my main attack, which I put on space. And essentially I spam these two keys every 10 seconds. Once or twice, so I keep them close to my right hand because I can just easily move my fingers up to hit the page down key or end or delete easily, so I keep them here. And then the keys are harder to reach, so I have to take my right hand off of my keyboard. I'll basically keep them as long cooldown keys, so my transformation and the will skill have long cooldown, so I keep them on the far end but still within reach, and I could easily move my right hand back onto the arrow keys. So that's basically the whole right sector that your right hand should manage, in my opinion. And then now we move on to the left sector, which is basically everything on the left of this line divide right here. And these are the keys that you basically use as bursts and something that you kind of need some time to activate, or they activate in some sort of chain. Now also separate this left sector into left middle, which is right here. Anything beyond the letter H. So between the letter H here and this line right here, I call them left middle sector, and then on the left here I call it the far left sector. So the far left sector is basically where your left hand is going to be placed at any given time. If you think about how your hands are laid out on the keyboard, they're most likely just around at furthest, unless you have Shaquille O'Neal type of hands, it's going to only reach the letter G. So anything beyond G in the middle, so keys like 7, 8, 9, J, K, other things like that, you're really not going to reach as much unless you move your hands to the right side. And ideally we want to keep our hand in the same position so that it's fast casting speed and we don't have to worry about hitting the wrong key as much. So here's what I do for any key that I don't use in a battle, or I use like once every 40 minutes or 20 minutes, like this key right here, I basically keep in the middle. Like Firestarter Ring, I'm not going to use in a battle, so I basically keep it on the middle where I basically don't use it. And any other keys like skills you know, those function keys that are nice to have when you're playing, I keep them in the middle, right? And same thing for chat, because chat, you really don't chat much unless you guys like typing during boss fights, which will get you killed, but that's another issue. So yeah, the chat keys I keep on the top right here, and again, it's in the middle section of my keyboard. So now let's go into the left section, and here's the concept, I guess. So I have all of my buffs on one line of, or I should say one row of keys. So these are all of my buffs that I pop, so like the decent and everything. Now I know Nexon is doing a KMST patch in Korean MapleStory where they are having 2 pet skills. So instead of 1 pet skill, like right now, we have 2 pet skill. So it'll help remove these 3 keys because they are allowing decents in pets, I think, now. So yeah, they're going to be having that, and adding these 3 keys to pet skill will help me free up some keys. So thank you, Nexon, for actually implementing it. And so basically the top is my buffs, essentially. So this is my buff that I use when I need to have super knockback. And yeah, just the whole row is for my buffs. And also Will for easy access during Black Mage and Gloom. So something I could easily access by just moving my hand up. And then now we move on to the burst roll, which is the ASDFG. And I basically press this in order. So I pop the longest duration one first, and then I pop the second longest duration, 40 seconds, and then 20-second duration, and then 90-second duration, and then I reset the terms and conditions. So this is like my whole order. But now that I have a weapon jump ring, I obviously have to go up a bit to weapon jump ring, but I don't have this up all the time, so I just leave it on the top. So it's somewhat still close to my burst roll, what I call. And ASDFG is essentially my burst roll. And for the second roll, I guess you can call it, I have my keys that I'll use every now and then. And so this is my blade fall skill, which is one of my 5th drop skill that activates every 30 seconds. And again, this is very easy access. I don't want to move this to the left side because the cooldown is rather long, but you could technically move it to the right side if you want. It doesn't really make a huge difference, but ideally I'm going to be on the bottom and just spamming my Gigas Wave with my left hand. So if I want to pair that together well with my Tempest Blades and my Wing Beat, which is the combo skill that I have, essentially Gigas Wave, Tempest Blades, and Wing Beat, I have to use my left and right hand together, so I keep them on different sectors. And then my W key I use every 20 seconds, and that's helping with charging the morph gauge. This I don't really use except as training, so I just keep it here because I have a space anyways. And I also keep my binds, my Yorozu and my Erda relatively within reach, though they are of longer duration, but they are within reach, and I can just stretch a little bit and I can hit either one of the keys. And now we move on to basically, I guess you could call it the movement roll, because I don't really use this roll for anything else but movement keys. So final form is going to be my teleport when I am in teleport. I just basically move because it's very close to my spacebar key, and I can get easy access to it when I want to move. And same thing with this, it's my rush skill. It basically rushes me forward, and I use it whenever I need to in the boss fight. It's very convenient. Blade Burst is more of a mobbing skill, and I just keep it here because, you know, I have a key here, and I do use my mobbing for training, so you know it's somewhat easy access for my left hand, and just rest it on the V key and I am able to do it. Same thing for Dragon Barrage, which is my teleport skill, and I keep this again relatively close to my main attack so I can switch between moving and attacking a boss relatively fast and easily. And then I have my iframe on here when it's more of a, you know, emergency key where I'm in trouble and I need to hit it, so I just smack the shift key with my left pinky or something like that. So that's basically my setup. So basically, if you want to take away anything from this, it's to have your burst and attack keys on, I guess, a row, and keep it on the left sector for keys that you'll use on a pretty consistent basis, like every 2 minutes, every 3 minutes on the left hand side, and everything that you don't use in a actual boss fight to keep it towards the middle, just because it's not really that relevant. And then when you're typing and actually doing other things, you have more time to figure out which key it is in the middle, and whatever key that you have to combo with your main attack that is on the left side, you put it on the right side so that you can have both of your hands working at the same time. This is, again, my personal preference. You don't have to follow what I do, but you know, see what works best for you. This is what has worked best for me, and hope you guys find this helpful. And if you did, please subscribe and like the video. I'll see you guys in the next video.